All right, this is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, and we're going live like we do every other Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Next, in 2 weeks on December 11th, that will be our last live for the year, and then we're going to pick it up in January 15th of 2024 for the new year. Just to let you guys know, we will be off for 1 month. We have Christmas and New Year's that we're going to take off. But then we're going to resume it on December or January 2024. So we are taking off Christmas Day, and we're taking off the 8th of, or the 1st of, and we're going to take off the 8th of January, but we're going to start a new schedule on the 15th, and we'll be back and go live every other Monday, just like we have been all this year, and we're going to continue next year. So look forward to that, and I hope you guys stay with us during the lives. All right, so today's topic is what I wish I knew when I started the ATM business. So oftentimes that when you start something, you're like, oh, I wish I'd known that. It could save me some time and energy. And so we thought we'd talk about that tonight. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can always jump in and ask questions, not only about the topic, but about other topics or other questions that you have in general about the ATM business. All right. So one of the things that I did wish that I knew is when I started this business is I wish I would have, I discovered this later, is that I start with the end in mind. So what does that mean? It's like, okay, what I want to build a business with an exit strategy in mind. Now, Phil, you would say, well, Phil, why would I do that? I thought you want to get into business. You're thinking about exiting the business. Because when you almost reverse engineer it, you learn about where your thresholds are, of what you're going to do, what you're going to tolerate, what you're going to do, and what you're not going to do. So you want to build a business to basically exit the business. And I relate this to building a house or remodeling a house. My intentions when I got into remodeling houses or rejuvenating real estate was that I wasn't there to build a house for myself. It was, I'm going to build a house with the exit in mind, that I want to buy the piece of real estate, we want to fix it up, and then we want to sell it. And so then I made a lot of decisions based on the fact that I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to live there forever, or I'm not going to live there. So do I need to, if I'm going to put granite countertops in there, do I need to go with 3/4 inch granite countertops, or can I go with a 1/2 inch granite countertop? Can I get light fixtures that are very nice, but they're not top of the line? So therefore saving some of the money that I would have spent, I guess let's call it recklessly, but I'm spending it economically. So I'm going to relate that to the business, just like the ATM business. So keep that in mind. So here, I give you an example of this. So you're in the ATM business. All right. Does it matter to me? And this is something that I see all the time is, does it matter if I buy a Halo 2 or a Gen Mega 2500, or do I spend the extra couple $100 and buy a Force or an Onyx? An ATM, what I learned is an ATM is an ATM is an ATM. Early on in the business, I spent a little bit more money. I bought the extra ATM, the higher value ATM. I wanted to stand out in the business. I wanted to say, hey, you know what? I want them to have a quality associated with our company. And over the years, over the 23 years, what I learned is, you know what? It didn't matter. An ATM was an ATM was an ATM. It didn't matter at all if I had, back in the day, it was, we had knowledge show selling 1500s and some guys were buying 1800s. What was the difference? The 1800s had a little bit different of a screen, and it was called an 1800 POS, and it was a little bit bigger of a screen. It was color. Ours was just blue. These were colored screens, and it had a nice, let's call it a marquee, or it said ATM on it. All right, they were sharp. Cost $200 more. At the end of the day, you know what? They weren't any better, and it cost me more money. And keep in mind, this is the other thing that I realized is because there wasn't so many when they went to upgrade, nobody came out with a kit to upgrade that. We had to throw those away. So in fact, it cost me money to buy that extra ATM. So you know what? It was just better that I went with the standard 1500 instead of the 1800 POS. Now that's not an 1800 POS is not an 1800 CE or an SE. It's just an 18. It was just an 1800. It was a high model. So right now we have. So then what happened is they had the 1800 and they had a 2700. 2700. Now that was a good buy. It's still on the route. They made an upgrade kit. It is still in production. It's not production day, but you can still operate today. That was the difference. 1800 SE or 2700. Then you had a Halo 1 and the 2700, and then they came out with the Halo 2, and you have a Force. All right, is the Force better or worse? Force is a great, phenomenal product. Is it worth the $200? It is worth the $200, but it doesn't change how much money we make or the transactions. It's still the same. So sometimes looking back at it, you know what? I would just buy the base model and save the money and put that money into something else for our ATM business. So that's one of the things that I wish I knew going back, and always build the ATM business so you have an exit strategy. So keep in mind when you do something, always keep the exit strategy in mind when you make decisions. Here's another thing. If I keep the end in mind, and this is some of the philosophy that we change, is we don't take a location without a location agreement. Why? Because if I'm building the end with in mind, it has no value, that location. I can't get any more money. I can't get any money because there's no contract involved. There's no location agreement, site location agreement, whatever you want to call it. So it doesn't have any value, or it doesn't have any value. So we don't take those locations because it doesn't have any value going down the road. It would be like fixing up a house and you don't have the title to the house. What good is it? It's not any good. So one of the things we do now is we always make sure we get a location agreement in case that, and we always build like we're going to exit the business. I've been in the business 23 years. I don't plan on going anywhere, but just in case if I ever do, or something happens, or you know what, maybe I get sick and my wife doesn't want to run the business. She wants to sell the business. It gives her an exit strategy that I prepare for our whole existence. So that's what we do. We always prepare for the end in mind. It might not be you who wants to exit the business. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe something happens. Maybe it's your kids. I don't know what it is, but it gives you the opportunity to exit the business, and it gives you the ability to build a business in with an exit strategy in mind. All right. Another thing, let's see, is another thing that I learned is I don't have to stay in low volume accounts. When I first started out in the business, I want to control a certain area. I'd say, look, I want to take every location I can in this little area, in this town. I want to be the only person. It didn't matter if it's a good location or not. I'm taking it and I'm staying there. Well, for what? I couldn't control. There's too many businesses in a given geographic area. So you know what? What I found out is maybe in the early stage I did dominate the market, but then what happened is a new convenience store popped up, a new gas station popped up, and I didn't get that location. Somebody else got it, so I couldn't control every location in a given geographic area. So you know what? What was the point? I'm taking the best deals I can, and if the deal doesn't work out, then I pull the ATM. I get out. I put it in our location agreement that, you know what, I can leave the location for any reason or no reason, and then the deal's done. So if the volume wasn't, if the location didn't have a good enough volume, then you know what, we just exited out of that location and picked our ATM up, and I found a new spot and put it in there. So I didn't stay. One of the things I did early on is I stayed in these locations for a long time. I never pulled it out because I wanted to control an area. Later on in life, I figured, you know what, I can't control all the area. So a friend of mine used to say, control the controllables, and I can control whether or not we stayed in a location or not. I couldn't control if another person came into the market, or that location didn't do a good enough volume. So what we did is we decided to pull out. So that's what one of the other things that I learned in the ATM business. Um, Number three, another thing is I learned is I didn't like the deal. I just walk away. A lot of times when I first started out, I was excited about giving an opportunity about placing an ATM, and then let's say that's just related to what it is today. I go in a location, I tell a guy, hey, we're gonna do a $3 surcharge. I'm gonna get 250. You're gonna get 50 cents. He says, no, no, no. I want $1.50. I'm like, well, I don't even know if you're gonna justify. Oh, that's what I want. So you know what? They're going to tell me, and they would tell me, hey, here's the thing. I don't want $3. I want it at $2, and I want to make $1 or whatever they dictate to me. It's my business. You're not dictating to me what you're going to do. It's my money. It's my ATM. I dictate to you. This is what we're comfortable with. $3 surcharge, 50 cents goes to you. If you do volume, I can pay you more. If you don't do volume, you're not getting any more. So I can walk away from the deal. Now I try to do that very due diligently. I try to do it very calmly. I don't get mad. It's like, you know what? This is what we're willing to do. If you're interested in taking the opportunity, then take the opportunity. If you're not, I completely understand and walk away. There's a million store owners out there, and I don't have to take a bad deal. At the end of the day, I gotta pay for the gas to go to the location. I gotta pay for the ATM, and whether the ATM makes 100 transactions and I get 250, which is $250, or it does 50 transactions, or it does 200 transactions, that's going to be my deal. And I'm going to take the best deal for me because I need to make a certain amount of money to make it profitable. And that number is always $250 per month per ATM. If it doesn't make that, then we have to look at altering the deal, changing the deal, or pulling the ATM. Now, if we can change the deal, then I'll change it. Look, Mr. Stoner, we went in here. You said you were not going to take credit cards. You continue to take credit cards. You didn't give it up. We made a deal of I was going to give you $1 transaction. We're doing 50 transactions, and that's just not enough. I can stay here. I can't pay you any commission if you want me to stay. If you don't want me to stay, I completely understand. We're pulling our ATM. So what do? We change the deal. We stay in the store, and that's great. If we can't make more money, then we got to pull our ATM. It's just not working out. They understand it's a business decision. No hard feelings. That's that. Well, that's what we do. So one of the things I to reiterate, I know I'm not afraid to walk away from the location or the deal or the opportunity. If it's not good enough for me, then it's not good enough for our business model. So, all right. Well, hey, I just want to let me check and see if we have any questions tonight. Okay. We don't have any questions. I'm just going to say, hey, thanks. Let's see. Hey. All right. So I'm just going to post that in the comments. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to our student section for we have a Zoom link for question and answers in our student section. So if you guys are ever interested in joining, we'll post a link down below. We have a course that teaches you from A to Z how to get into the ATM business. And then we have biweekly check-in calls right after these lives for students in case they have any questions or they want to understand more about what the ATM business is all about. We can help them through every and all. Let's see. I got a question. When do we have update the keypad on ATMs? All right. So as of right now, until things change, January 1, 2025 is the date for the TR31 upgrade that's supposed to be taking place. They're going to do some testing in October, November, but right now, January 1, 2025 is when the ATMs have to have the new keypad going forward. So just to let you guys know, but they're doing some testing. They'll be doing some testing in 2024, anywhere from in third quarter this to identify what ATMs don't have to be upgraded. So, Curtis, thanks for asking that question. Right now, that's the latest, greatest information is uh, January 1, 2025. However, just to let you know that if you have a Nella Shosung 6000K keypad, there's nobody repairing those. So if you do have that goes out, I would highly encourage you to replace that with either an 8000R or an X1 keypad if your ATM, if the keypad goes out. So just to let you know. And if you've got Gen Megas, that would be either a B3 or a B5. I don't think they're selling B3s anymore. I know we sell B5s, and we also sell X1s and X1 kits. I have 2 Gen Megas. All right, so what you want to do is you want to check to see underneath the keypad what you have, a B1, B2, B3, or B5. If you have a B3 or B5, you're okay. If you have a B1 or B2, what I would do is if your keypad's working, I wouldn't worry about it until sometime next year. But if it's not working, then, or if it craps out on you, then what I would do is I would replace that. So with again, they don't have B3s, but a B5. So, and I don't know if yeah. So I think, and I don't know, I can't remember, and I apologize. I know on all the show songs you need brackets, but I don't know on a Gen Mega. I just think you need the keypad. I don't think you need a special bracket. So should work. All right. All right. Thanks, Curtis. Appreciate you. And I will check you guys back in 2 weeks. So thank you very much for joining, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.